Yeah, do you want to get a shot ready? We can take a shot together after I ask this question. You guys both talked about the importance of public association, going to school, right? I had a horrible experience at school.
Yeah.
I had a horrible experience.
Why?
Socially, educationally, everything, right? So,
Same.
and I say that not to the point that it was just a bad time, but that I don't feel that those, looking back now as an adult, I don't feel that those negative experiences were relatively formative in who I am today.
You really
So,
don't? They are. I
I
disagree with you. I think that every negative experience, every experience in our life is formative, including the negative.
I'm not
And
saying it
will
didn't have
you.
any effect. I mean, largely
Yeah.
formative, right?
I bet they did. I bet they did.
I think I would have to go through them individually to really decide, right? This
Maybe
is
in
just
like
kind of
the
looking back.
Psychoanalysis.
So
Time
we
for
can
psychoanalysis.
neither here nor there, right? My question still stands regardless of personal situation, which I'm more than willing to dig into afterwards. But I want to ask you guys this: if it's not school, because I don't necessarily think that that's what instills that grit in people to persevere and continue to go on, right?
Just an aspect.
Then what is it, right? Because I was thinking when I formed this question, I thought, well, it's parents, right? It's got to be your parents. But you were 16 when you were kicked out of your house, so you some of your deeply formative years were spent at least partially by yourself, having to figure out who you were, right? So it can't all be parents.
They let me back
right?
in. I got to move back into my house after I told my mom that it was a lie.
Okay.
Because my girlfriend at the time stopped talking. Because my mom threatened to tell her parents. She was like, "I'm sorry, I can't do this," and so she bailed.
Okay.
And then I stayed at a lesbian couple's house. They let me stay there for a little bit. It was like 5 months or something. And then finally, my mom showed up. Yeah, she said, "Just tell me it was a phase. Just tell me it was a lie." And I wanted to go home, so I said, "Yeah, I lied. It's not true. It's a phase." So I went home.
Okay.
To this day, my mom does not know that I'm bisexual. To this day, I've never. That's the other thing that really pisses me off.
Don't watch this, Creatrix, Mom. Don't watch this stream.
Don't do it.
I know. That's the other thing that sucks about, like, one thing that I've always had to struggle with, like, the LGBTQ community is, like, they don't. What's the word? Everyone's always talking about the struggle, but then there's people that have gone through that struggle, but they're not even, like, caring, or they don't see it, like,
empathetic.
Because I'm this. Yeah, there's no empathy, like, because I'm a white I guess I'm not cis if I'm
because you're
bi.
privileged.
Yeah, right.
You're
so like
cisgendered.
my struggle
but you're
doesn't
bisexual.
matter. Like the fact that cisgendered. I don't know what the fuck this shit is.
All the first letters in that thing get kind of like pushed off to the side.
Get it right, okay? Yeah. It's very important on this
Dave
show.
Chappelle
Pronouns
is
are
king
very
for
important.
this.
Yeah, and it's just like I've experienced that shit. Like I know what it's like to fucking go through the having your family never accept you, knowing that you're never going to be accepted. But honestly, it's like you can't ruminate on that. Like you can't you can't ruminate on like that experience. Like at this point in my life, I just am like, yeah, that happened. Yeah, my mom can't know. Yeah, this is just life. And what's the point? Should I just sit around and mope and just wallow in my oppression? Like, no, that's not going to help anything. That's not going to help me. That's honestly just going to fucking hold me down. The only thing you can do is just like move past it.
So do you have a relationship with your family, like with your mom? I know you said that your dad passed in December. Did you have a relationship with your dad, and do you have a relationship with your mom now?
I was very close to my dad. I have because obviously I love my mom, like she's my mom, even if she sucks a lot of the time, I still love her.
I'm not the right person to ask about this. I'm not the right person to have this discussion with.
I love her, so in my mind I'm like I want to still have a relationship with her if I can. You know, like I want to just like keep the peace. It's basically it at this point.
You just don't really talk about it then.
No. And I can, as I said, I can talk in the lens of Christianity. So I can speak Christian. I can speak the language. I can communicate about God in that way because I do believe in a higher power, intelligent design, and I can talk about it through the lens of Christianity and have deep conversations with my mom about it because of that. And so I can have a relationship with her to a degree. I mean, it sucks because she brings everything down to one thing that sucks is like sometimes like something will go wrong and I'll be like, I want to talk, I want to vent, and she'll just be like you just need to have faith in God. Like, or like it'll just always go
Okay.
back to that
Yeah.
one thing. And I'm like, I just want to be fucking pissed and I want to vent, mom. Like,
Yeah.
we just, like, it's like nothing, you can't ever have like a logical discussion with her about
Mm-hmm.
like actual tangible steps that you could take, because it always just goes back to, well, gotta have faith in God, gotta like be strong in the Lord, and that's the only thing you can do. Which I do understand where she's coming from with there, but like obviously you need to make tangible steps in order to make changes in your life.
Yeah.
Right.
And
Yeah,
a part of me is almost envious of those kinds of people that can make it so simplistic like that and just chalk it all up to faith and just say, if you can, like you said, just, have faith in God's plan or whatever it is. I mean, I'm kind of envious to the simplicity that brings, but
yeah,
ultimately we know that's all bullshit because you got to do something
yeah.
to get
I mean, I
through
do
whatever
think
it is that
faith
you're
is
doing.
important. I do think that having faith in something is important.
Yeah.
I
And I think it's
personally,
very underrated. Like
yeah,
I've been a guy that I am. I don't know if you. I mean, I guess I'd call myself an atheist. I guess, but
I figured you listen to Sam Harris.
yeah. Sam gets on my nerves a lot, but I guess I would kind of more equate myself into your realm. Like I'm very spiritual, I guess, and like I just spent a week up in the mountains, and God, there is something to be said about just the majesty of nature, and it really brings one down to kind of the self, and it makes you feel really small, makes you feel real insignificant, and it makes you appreciate the world, I guess, and
Yeah.
for lack of a better term. But I talking about the relationship with your mom,
Hmm.
and feel free, like if you don't feel comfortable about this, just don't engage. But I have, because I lost my father a few years ago, and that was, I didn't realize at the time it was a big deal in my life.
Yeah.
But I've had, especially ever since then, I've had this weird, I guess, kind of idea that, the old kind of saying, blood is thicker than water or whatever it is.
Hmm.
I don't give that a second thought anymore. I think family, the value of family, if family is something that is a negative aspect on your life, I got no problem saying, fuck you, I'm out. I make my own family if that's the deal, Like I have a good relationship with my mother. I better because I work with her every day. She works at the same company. We own part of the same company, but um, what is it that when you said you love your mother, like what is it
Yes.
that what is it that keeps you loving your mother?
I'm glad you asked this.
I think that because I know my mom's past. I know why
Mhm.
she is the way she is. I know there's a lot of layers to why my mom is the way that she is.
Mhm.
And she's human, and humans are flawed. My mom is a flawed person, and I don't think she's inherently bad. I think she's scared. I think she's a
Mhm.
scared human who is filled with a lot of shame and guilt, and a lot of people that are drawn to certain sects of Christianity. It's usually because of something that they did in the past that they are filled with regret with, and they need to feel they need to feel cleansed of that. And so with Christianity, they can. And I
Mhm.
think that I see where my mom is coming from, and I understand. And I don't think she's inherently evil. I think she's just a scared person that can only love the only way she knows how. And I try to love her the way I can and give her love and appreciation. And I mean, sometimes it sucks because sometimes, who knows, she could find something about me in a week and never talk to me again. She could, like, anything like that could happen. It's happened multiple times where she just would up and stop talking to me. And I wouldn't even know why. I'd like talk to my dad and be like, Mom's not answering my calls. And he'd be like, ugh, Randy, she
Oh.
found out about that show you produced, and like she thinks it's like satanic and like all of this stuff. And I'd just be like, okay. And like my mom found out I managed a strip club, and that was a huge issue.
Mhm.
And she disowned me after that. And my dad knew. My dad was very religious, but he was Christian, but like he was not the same way as my mom. He was more open. He still loved me unconditionally. You know, like regardless of what I did, he might not agree with shit that I do, but he still was like, he still wanted that relationship with me. And I think that that's kind of where I'm at with my mom too. It's like, I might not agree with some of the shit she believes or the things that she does, but I love her unconditionally, even if she can't even love me unconditionally.
So can I ask you?
It's a good answer.
This is a personal thing. I have a strained relationship with my own family, so this is partially why I'm asking you this, right? Do you not expect growth out of your mother? You know,
What do you mean? For her to grow?
yes.
No. I mean, I think she's just, some people are just stuck in their ways. It's always going to be a thing.
I'll turn the question back to you.
Yeah.
And,
do you expect growth from your mother?
Yes, and that's
Okay.
so that's where I'm at now, right? Where obviously it's different perspective, so I have to consider that. Now, I don't want to get too deep into it because I haven't hashed this out with my family, but I'll give what I'm willing to. It's still an active situation, so
Okay.
I don't want to call them out on the internet because I'm not talking to them. So that's but like me and my mother and my wife have had issues, and my larger family on my mother's side, on my side, have had issues essentially since my wife and I got together that were hidden from us from my wife and I for years.
But they just not
And
like your wife? Is it more of like
they
a,
didn't like, they felt like I had changed and that I was ashamed of them and that I wanted to spend more time with my wife's family and all this stuff. And they hid all of this for years until we were married, and we were married for over a year. And then they decided to mention it after they're like, but it doesn't matter because it's too late now. And so things had been strained ever since then. That was probably like 4 years ago. And then in February, over my wife's birthday, my wife's name was Jordan. We had a falling out with my mom. There was a situation that happened over fucking childcare, like a simple thing she was watching, but miscommunication over that turned into a larger thing that we've like barely spoken since then. And over this time since February, what is it now? It's November, so over 9 months, I've obviously done an immense amount of reflecting on the way that I was raised and things like that. When I was raised, my parents were divorced, so it was my mom, my sister, and my grandma and me until I was an adult. And a part of my issue is that my mom is 60 years old, and I just
you're the only boy, right?
the only boy, yeah. And so part of my issue at this time is that I'm also the youngest in my family of all these people I'm having issues with.
Baby boy.
And so I expect that these people would progress forward, that they would make changes in their life and want to do things better. And that's part of where my frustration is that I don't.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
So have you always been close to your mom?
Probably, when I was growing up, because that's the only parent that I had,
I also do feel like mothers tend to have a special relationship with their sons. My mom definitely does with my brother. And I would say they always feel like no woman is good enough. I feel like that can be a thing that some moms have. I don't know if this is a similar thing in your situation, but
yeah.
sometimes moms can feel like no one's good enough for their baby boy.
Yeah.
No one, like, that's there, especially if there's not a man in the house and you're the only man in the house type of thing. Like, then, like, there's just a lot put on you at that point as like the masculine figure. And then they are going to have a hard time accepting any woman come into your life. I don't know if that
I don't know either. There's so much. A family is not talkers. As much as they would like to say that they're very emotional and supportive, it's not. They're sweep things under the rug type of group of people. They would just rather forget about it and not talk about it until you're gone, and then they'll talk to everybody else about it, but they don't want to talk to you about it. And that's what happened, except for like 4 or 5 years or whatever, until they finally my cousin sent me a text message of like, oh hey, I just wanted to let you know, I felt. And we've all felt, for the last 5 years, like you've, liked Jordan's family more than us, and blah, 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 all these things over fucking text message after 5 years. And so that was the beginning event of the last probably like 3 years of. So it's, So that's why I ask you that question. That like my mom, she's 6 years old, and I expect to be fair, my Jordan tells me that I have high expectations of the people in my life. That I don't. You could probably attest to that or deny that. I don't know whether or
No,
not
I think that's a very true statement. Yeah.
So that could definitely be part of it, But I just expect progress. I expect better. It's been 4 years at least that we've been having these same issues. That I've been having these same issues with my mom. That I expect progress. So that's what I'm interested. That's why I ask you that. Like how old is your mom?
In her 60s.
And so
She's older.
And so you are, and I'm not judging you either way. I'm genuinely curious because I don't know. You're just accepting that this is just how she is, and you don't expect progress from that point.
I don't expect her. She's formed.
Mm-hmm. She's formed.
Do you think there's a point where it's too late for change?
I think that probably not for everyone, but most likely for her. And I also don't expect people to change because you can't expect anyone to change. I think that she also, I don't want her to die and have regrets that I didn't do everything I can to show my mom that I still love her regardless. And
But that's a regret for you and not her, right?
No, I mean, yeah, for sure. She's like this good Christian, but like obviously she's not coming from that place of unconditional love that Christianity is supposed to be based on. But at least I can give that to her, and I'll give it back. And who knows, maybe that could have an effect. Who knows? But I don't expect anything. I don't expect her to change. I wonder, my little sisters, I wonder if them rebelling in any way might cause a shift. Who knows? I also think that everyone, like my siblings, also feel like the need to like cater to my mom.
Your older siblings or all of them?
My oldest brother,
right,
and my little sisters for sure. It's just like there's just the aspect of just like keeping mom happy, just keeping her content and happy and trying not
just
to
letting her do her thing and not cause issues. Appreciate what you do have.
Not make waves.
Yeah.
I mean, she's got a very strong personality.
Right.
Like my mom is actually very passionate about politics. She's very passionate about religion, obviously. She loves debating. She loves it. So like me and her get into heated debates all the time, and we talk about politics and religion, and we can have really deep, in-depth conversations. It's just, unfortunately, we'll get to a point where we hit a wall because we can't go any further, because she can't go any further. And that's where it ends. Welcome to the south of the streets.